coverage on KGW+.
Now at 7, union leaders for Evergreen Public Schools remain on strike. Coming up, details on the district's latest offer and why staff say it's not enough.
This critical advisory panel has lost scientific credibility.
Senator, I didn't politicize ASAP. I depoliticize it.
Capitol Hill showdown. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. grilled by senators, including Ron Wyden and vaccine policy on the direction of the Health and Human Services. We'll have a look at the heated back and forth. Plus.
And we know that these signs are very personal. That's why we really want to hear from them.
The state of Washington is considering changes to a program that honors the victims of drunk drivers with roadside signs. We'll have more on the story, including reaction from a local mom who lost her daughter to a drunk driver. That story coming up here in the 7 o'clock hour of Sunrise.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 7 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Chris McGinnis standing by. He's doing the jobs of 2 men this morning. Rod Hill off today, so Chris's weather and traffic.
Actually, it is a little busy on the weather front. We will start with that. Radar over the last 3 hours starting to show more activity popping out in the gorge, and now starting to see some of these showers work their way over the Cascades and develop in the Cascade foothills on the west slope. So into Clackamas County, so like east of Colton and Molalla, and then down towards Lynn County, and working its way into northern, or I should say central Marion County in like the Mill City area. That cell has actually weakened in the last little while. I think that's going to be the case with a lot of these showers, but I can't completely rule out one of those showers making its way into the metro area between now and about 10 o'clock. The cloud cover is building in a little bit. It's a little bit of a muggy and sticky morning out there. The dew point's 60 by Northwest standards. That is sticky. It's 63 last check, by the way, at PDX. So we've got the clouds and at least that shower threat for the first part of our day today. Our day winds up turning out to be hazy, sunny, muggy, with highs in the upper 80s to close out the week. All right, let's get you out the door. We'll start off with a live look at the sunset. There's Highway 26 coming down the hill from the zoo towards the Vista Ridge Tunnel. One of our busier spots on this Friday morning commute. It's not bad. But just to let you know, we've got eyes out there. We're watching it. There's a look at the Banfield, Interstate 84 coming out of the Hollywood district. That's not in too bad a shape just yet. The drive times are still relatively in check across the freeway system. Even the trip out of Clark County doesn't look so bad this morning. Guys, we will keep you posted.
Thank you, Chris. Top story here at 7 o'clock. The school year still on hold in the largest district in Southwest Washington after a group of striking workers rejected the latest contract offer from Evergreen Schools.
So that means today will be the 8th day of canceled classes for the kids and teachers in the district. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson is live outside Evergreen High School in Vancouver with the latest on this. Corey?
Drew, China, the district says they're still bargaining, but union leaders say they're not being heard. Now this, as the school year hasn't even started as those negotiations continue. Classified school workers, which includes bus drivers and paraeducators, have been on the picket line since early last week. They're demanding changes around pay and other topics of concern for them. The district is providing free breakfast and lunch to students in the meantime with pickups at Heritage and Mountain View High Schools and Marion Elementary School. On Thursday, the union rejected the district's latest proposal. It included additional longevity payments to some employees, which workers say isn't what they asked for, and a 12.5% increase for paraeducators over 3 years. Also, not what they're saying union leaders have requested.
We were hoping for the paraeducators, for example, for 15 was our bottom number. They still won't talk about any of the contract language that we still have outstanding. And so we have some health and safety concerns for our students and paraeducators and for our bus drivers that they won't even talk to us about.
Now, the district says that there's only so much they can do as they deal with a $26 million shortfall over the next 3 years. But district leaders say that they're going to continue to bargain and negotiate in good faith with those union leaders. We'll have more details coming up in our next half hour. Drew, Jen.
Corey, thank you. And no school again for the La Center School District. Teachers are planning to return to the picket lines again today. The union is negotiating with the district on a new contract, with the primary push being for better pay. Both sides were at the bargaining table yesterday, but it's unclear if they made any progress.
Another update for families with kids in the Stevenson-Carson School District. The district is sending kids home 2 hours early today because of the weather forecast. Chris McGinnis with more on just how hot it will be today, coming up in 5 minutes.
Now to some of your other morning headlines. Washington County detectives say they believe that there may be more victims linked to a man already facing multiple sexual assault and kidnapping charges. In July, sheriff's deputies arrested Drew Hendricks, accusing him of kidnapping a 20-year-old woman and sexually assaulting her at his home in Aloha. They also suspect he abused an 80-year-old man in the same house. In addition to that, Hendricks was recently indicted in Columbia County for sex abuse and kidnapping. The sheriff's office says that Hendricks used to own a motor company in Portland and was subject of numerous complaints over the years, with women often commenting on his, quote, predatory behavior, and was placed under multiple stalking and restraining orders. Since his arrest in July, the sheriff's office says it's received dozens of phone calls and interviewed a number of people about his behavior. Detectives are asking anyone with information to get them a call.
The former Alaska Airlines pilot accused of trying to shut down a plane's engines in the middle of a flight over Portland has reached a plea deal. That update comes from the attorney for Joseph Emerson. 2 years ago, Emerson was riding off-duty in the cockpit of a Horizon Air flight when he allegedly tried to shut the plane's engines down. Crew members had to restrain him, and the plane made an emergency landing here in Portland. Emerson said he took psychedelic mushrooms a couple of days before that, and that he hadn't slept in over 40 hours. He's scheduled to appear in both federal and Multnomah County Court later today.
2 people have been arrested for allegedly starting a fire at the historic train trestle in Newburgh. Police say 2 juveniles broke into a storage shed at the church in June, then stole a gas canister they used to start the fire. Both suspects are now being held at the Yamhill County Juvenile Detention Center. Their names are not being released because they're minors.
Commissioners in Multnomah County unanimously approved a new ordinance that bans licensed concealed guns inside county buildings. Earlier this year, a law in Oregon was expanded to allow local governments to make their own decisions regarding concealed firearms in public buildings.
Police are launching a new pilot program to deploy drones to some crime scenes before officers even get there. The drones at Portland's East Precinct will be able to fly anywhere within a 2.5-mile radius. Now, this is different from Portland's current program, which involves having an officer arrive at the scene, then set up to fly from there. Portland Police Chief Bob Day says that this will allow officers to get eyes on emergency even quicker.
This is an example of a learning organization. This is an example of maximizing the resources we have available to provide the highest level of safety and security to the community, recognizing the necessary steps we are taking around transparency.
And police say that they understand that privacy concerns and emphasize drones won't record while heading to a scene. They also can't enter private property without permission unless there's an emergency.
All right, Chris McGinnis back into the mix here on a Friday morning. A lot of people wondering what's it going to be like outside this weekend. Chris has the answer.
Let's start off with now. We've got some showers and even a rumble of thunder here and there across the region. Radar over the last 3 hours. I wonder why my radar is stuck. I'm going to take a little gander over here and see. Did I forget to actually put this thing in play mode? Maybe I did. There we go. It should move now and show you the progress that these showers have made over the last 3 hours. We've had some, actually numerous showers west of the I-5 corridor, west of Eugene, west of Corvallis, through portions of Lincoln County and on up into Polk and even as far north as Yamhill County. Those lightning strikes happened about 90 minutes or so ago. A newer round of lightning strikes popping up in Wasco County, and now these showers starting to blossom a little bit over in the Bend and Redmond area. Meanwhile, as we zoom in here, we've got a couple showers popping into eastern Clackamas County. It's been, are these going to hold together to get into the metro area? It's been interesting because they've kind of popped up, and then in the last couple scans of radar, they've diminished a little bit. So that would favor that these probably don't get into the metro area, but it is something we're watching, and it's why I can't stand here and say the chance of rain this morning is 0. Not high, but it's not 0. All right, we are mostly cloudy out there. We're also a little sticky with dew points in the 60s. If you're not from here, you're probably like, that's not bad, but by Northwest standards, that is a little bit humid, and it's, again, 63 last check at PDX. Modeling doing a terrible job again this morning of picking up the early morning shower activity, but I want to show you this because it is doing a good job of picking up what we think will happen later this afternoon, which is another round of thunderstorms along and east of the Cascades. Once again, with the steering currents kind of south-southeast, it's possible that 1 or 2 of those drift over the Cascades overnight tonight. So again, therein lies the shower chance early on Saturday. For the most part, we're looking at a dry weekend, but the chances are not zero over the next couple of days. I can say with high confidence that we're going to get wet next week. Monday and Tuesday, models are showing on the order of maybe 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of rain in the metro area and up and down the I-5 corridor, and that might be on the light side, so we'll keep you posted on that. All right, let's get you into your traffic report, and a heads up for TriMet riders. This is some cool drone video of the Robertson Tunnel. That's the 3-mile tunnel that runs through the West Hills and carries the MAX red and blue lines. We're bringing this up because TriMet's going to start a week-long maintenance project in the tunnel. So the MAX blue and red lines are going to be disrupted starting Sunday for a week. Riders, I should say, are going to use shuttle buses to serve stops between the Sunset Transit Center and Providence Park. So just be aware of that. That could create delays of upwards of 45 minutes on your MAX commute if you're a regular MAX red and blue line rider. Let's get you out to the West Side freeways, tapping the brakes a bit, coming down the hill from the zoo into the tunnel on Highway 26. There's I-5 through Wilsonville. That doesn't look so bad. And right now the drive times are in pretty good shape. China?
Thank you, Chris.
That's not just a name, it's a human being.
Roadside memorials honoring crash victims and warning against drunk driving now in danger of being taken down as the state of Washington considers changes to the program. Still to come on Sunrise, why one mother says she's scared her loved one could be forgotten. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Officials in Washington are looking to make changes to a program that creates road signs to honor crash victims and remind people not to drink and drive.
KGW's Catherine Cook has more on the potential changes after speaking to a local mom whose daughter was killed by a drunk driver.
She was so happy all the time.
Every day, Lori Shaddix remembers her daughter, Chrissy. 18 years ago, Chrissy and her friend Jessica Blank were driving home to Camas when a drunk, wrong-way driver hit their car on SR 14. Both women were killed. After the crash, Lori and her husband did their best to heal.
I just said, how are we going to do this? And he said, we're going to do it together.
They partnered with the Washington State Department of Transportation to create this, a sign with the girls' names warning people against drunk driving. It's now one of 1,026 roadside memorial signs statewide and one of 26 in Clark County.
It's important that when you see someone's name, that's not just a name, it's a human being.
It's why Lori was surprised to hear that the future of WashDOT's roadside memorial program, including her sign, is up in the air. WashDOT says since they started the program in 1994, it's grown and policies around the signs have changed. Transportation officials say they're looking for consistency and ways to reduce sign overcrowding in some urban areas.
And so the question is really about what are the durations that these signs should be in place. Should we have renewals? And what is that renewal period? And then, what are the different things that we should consider?
To help shape their decisions, WashDOT is asking the public to drop into an online open house to share feedback through October 15th. They'll use it to create an updated program later this year.
And we know that these signs are very personal, and that we want to. That's why we really want to hear from them.
To me, removing signs is you're now out of sight, out of mind. It didn't happen. These people are not gone because of bad decisions from someone else. And, what's the use at that point?
Besides the sign, Lori has spent years sharing her daughter's story with convicted drunk drivers and young people. She believes all of it has helped save lives, and she doesn't want that to change.
Probably got an average of like 20 or 30 hugs. And people saying, I had no idea. I just had no idea, and I will never do this again.
In Vancouver, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Live look outside by way of our brand new Skycam. Sits right there along the Vancouver waterfront. It's a great shot of the Interstate Bridge, which I always have a hard time seeing the cars moving through there. I can't always tell, Chris, if they're moving smoothly or moving slowly, but that's your line of work.
On a Friday morning, usually it's moving along okay, and if it's not, then there's a problem, right? And it's nice to have that added tool in our toolbox. The radar is the tool that's getting some work this morning, so let's get to that in a second. First off, our headlines going into this weekend, a slight cooling trend. We're dialing back the heat just a little bit. We have a slight shower and storm threat today, tomorrow, Sunday, and then going into next week, showers are likely. All right, why are we hedging and saying slight threat, just painting broad chances of showers here in our forecast? It's because the weather pattern is a little chaotic off the Pacific Northwest coast. I want to show you this real quick, just for perspective. You see all those little spins in the clouds there? There's one. There's one. There's a bigger one over there. There's lots of little pieces of energy that are rotating in off the Pacific. One of those is actually triggering some showers this morning, and our modeling, just like yesterday, is not doing a good job of capturing that overnight early morning thunderstorm activity. And we are hearing some rumbles of thunder out in the gorge. We've also had numerous lightning strikes in the southern Willamette Valley and across the central Oregon Coast Range this morning. Let's give you the live scan right now. Latest scan here, maybe showing a little shower around Tillamook, some showers and possible thunder in eastern Clackamas County, getting east of, say, the Colton area. There you go, east and south of Colton, and then, of course, some showers and some embedded thunder here, Hood River towards Parkdale, which we've been watching over the last 90 minutes or so. So our camera from downtown Portland pointed off to the south towards that cloudiness and that shower activity in Clackamas County. We'll keep our eyes on this. It's not overly likely that gets into the metro area, but it's not a zero chance this morning. So 63 last check at PDX. And again, there is that slight chance of a shower for the first part of our day today. Otherwise, our Friday will be characterized by hazy, warm conditions, and once again, more thunderstorms popping along and east of the Cascades tonight or late this afternoon. And once again, the steering currents, just like this morning, are generally from the south or southeast. So it's possible that some of these work their way into the Cascade foothills. Not out of the question that they get into the valley overnight, and that's why I have that slight chance of showers in our forecast. The trend, though, that we're confident about is cooler weather coming our way as we go into the weekend and rain in the 7-day forecast. I'll show you that in a minute. Slight shower chance this morning in the valley, otherwise hazy, warm, 84 in Salem, southwest Washington. Again, same story, slight chance of showers for the first part of the day today, otherwise a hazy and warm day. Vancouver gets to about 86, same here in Portland. The beach has seen some showers, especially from Lincoln City and Newport and parts south, so that's already verifying. And out in the gorge, very warm today after the morning showers. We've had showers and thunder around Hood River and the Dalles. Air quality continues to be not very good across central Oregon, and that unfortunately will continue to be the case into the weekend. So if you're heading to Bend and Sun River, just be aware of that. It'll be hazy and smoky today with afternoon storms likely. Same story over into the eastern part of the state as well. La Grande getting up to about 93. All right, here's our 7-day forecast. We're stair-stepping the temperatures down. Again, that slight chance of a shower this morning, 86 and partly sunny otherwise this afternoon. Upper 70s to near 80 tomorrow. I think we stay in the 70s on Sunday. And then going into next week, this is important for Monday and Tuesday. That shower opportunity is actually likely at this point. So we're going to get wet for the first part of our work week, and certainly cooler weather coming in for our 7-day forecast. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads. We start off with the traffic map. We'll zoom in on Highway 26 coming down the hill from the zoo into the tunnel. We're slowing down to about 25 miles an hour, so that's not all that bad, but just to let you know we're watching it. The drive south of town into Wilsonville, there's the I-5 northbound commute. It's busy, but moving along okay. And right now, that trip in from Wilsonville averaging about 17 minutes. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. Coming up here on Sunrise, a California utility company faces two multi-million-dollar lawsuits that claim the company is to blame for starting the deadly Eaton fire 8 months ago. That story and other national headlines right after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
The Department of Justice filed 2 lawsuits against a California utility company, claiming the company is responsible for the deadly Eaton fire that scorched an LA neighborhood earlier this year. NBC's Liz Kreutz has the update for us.
8 months since the Eaton fire ravaged parts of East Los Angeles, killing 19 people and destroying more than 9,000 homes, the DOJ accusing one of the state's largest utility companies of starting it.
Southern California Edison negligently failed to properly maintain its power and transmission lines, negligence that had deadly and very costly consequences.
In 2 lawsuits against SoCal Edison, the U.S. government says they're seeking more than $77 million in damages for both the Eaton fire in Altadena and the 2022 Fairview fire in Riverside County, alleging a troubling pattern of negligence. While investigators have not officially ruled on the cause of the Eaton fire, videos like this one have emerged showing flames at the base of an electrical tower in the early minutes of the blaze.
We believe that the evidence is clear, that Edison is at fault. The reason not to wait is because fire season's coming up again. We want Edison to change the way it does business.
In a statement, SoCal Edison responding in part, while the cause of the fire is still under investigation, we will review this lawsuit and respond through the appropriate legal channels. It all comes as firefighters are actively battling dozens of other wildfires across the West, from Washington State, where the rattlesnake fire is burning west of Spokane, to California, where crews are gaining ground on multiple brush fires that ignited from a lightning storm outside Yosemite National Park.
Again, that was Liz Kreutz reporting for us this morning. Let's take a look at some other national headlines now with your morning rush. Former President Joe Biden is recovering after undergoing surgery for skin cancer just months after he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. It's not clear when this procedure actually took place, but his office says the former president is doing well. 2 years ago, while he was still in office, President Biden had a cancerous lesion removed from his chest. In other headlines, the Justice Department issued new subpoenas in connection with the ongoing investigation into Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. Cook denies the mortgage fraud allegations against her, calling them baseless. She's dealing with two legal battles right now. This one and her own lawsuit against President Trump over his attempt to fire her. New job numbers show the U.S. labor market is slowing. Only 22,000 jobs were added in August, far below expectations, and unemployment rose to 4.3%, the highest in nearly 4 years. Revisions also show the economy actually lost jobs back in June, ending one of the longest periods of growth on record. Sports news, WNBA star Caitlin Clark officially out for the rest of the season because of her lingering groin injury. She's already been on the sidelines with this injury since mid-July. Clark has played just 13 games this season because of this and other injuries. And that's a look at your Morning Rush.
Senator, I didn't politicize ASAP. I depoliticize it.
Scientists and doctors are saying otherwise.
Coming up in our next half hour of Sunrise, Senator Wyden and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. going head-to-head in a heated hearing on Capitol Hill. We're going to have more from this testimony coming up again in our next 30 minutes. And we're also hearing from Portland Mayor Keith Wilson, who's asking for help with the city's new homeless shelters. He also implied that President Trump could send the National Guard here to Portland if his plan for homelessness doesn't actually work. These stories on the way in just a few minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We're coming up on 7:29 on your Friday morning drive, and it's not bad. There's a live look at Highway 26 coming down the hill from the zoo into the tunnel. We've got the typical brake tapping there, but again, we're rolling along okay. I-5 through North Portland is in excellent shape this morning. So far, mostly so good on the freeways. No unexpected freeway delays on this Friday morning commute. I do want to get you out the door and give you the live look from our Wells Fargo sky camera. It's pointed off to the south right now, and you can see the cloud cover from some thunder showers that are popping across parts of the Cascades and into the Cascade foothills. It's dry. It's 63 at the airport, but radar over the last couple of hours has shown some showers beginning to pivot their way north and westward. The ones closest to the metro area are out in Clackamas County right now, out in the Colton area or just south of Colton. So again, some of these are trying to work their way northward. we may have a shower for the first part of our day for some parts of us, in some parts of the region this morning. But I think most of us will just be characterized by a mostly cloudy morning. It's a little sticky out there as well. Temperature-wise, we're on our way to highs in the upper 80s this afternoon.
.30, half hour of the Sunrise Show on a Friday morning. Quick reminder, we all have a chance to win close to $2 billion this weekend. The next Powerball drawing is tomorrow night. The jackpot officially standing at $1.7 billion, the third largest in lottery history. If you went for the lump sum payout, it would be $770 million before taxes, but that's where things stand. We all still have a chance.
You're saying there is a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance. Sean, I want you to see something. Sometimes I forget to buy the tickets, right? Oftentimes I forget to buy a ticket.
Did you get the app?
No, I didn't do that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's even smarter. I go to my clock app, see what I got set there tomorrow. Can you read that?
Powerball every Saturday.
Oh, he deleted it.
Powerball every Saturday.
I set it for 10:02 tomorrow morning. I just thought tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm just going to go, oh yes. And then if I have to, I'll keep resetting the alarm until I buy that darn ticket.
I did download the app, like you said yesterday to do. It asks for your address.
You're out.
I don't know. I was like,
just go to the store and pay a little cash and get those tickets.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, we're not giving like financial retirement advice or anything like that, but we can all dream.
But
right?
you can't win unless you play.
That's true. All right, thank you. Let's get you out the door. Here's a live look right now from our Wells Fargo Sky camera. I've got the camera pointed to the south. The reason being, we've got some showers now trying to work their way over into the Cascade foothills in Clackamas County. It's 63 last check at PDX, and with the dew point is 60. By Portland standards, that's a little sticky, so it's muggy out there. And as I mentioned, thunderstorms now beginning to show up in portions of the gorge. We've got thunderstorms popping across central Oregon, north of the Bend and Redmond area and into the central Oregon Cascades. We've had showers along the Oregon coast with some embedded lightning strikes being detected there over the last 3 hours as well. We'll zoom in a little tighter. The closest to the metro area right now are these, just to the south of the Colton area in the Cascade foothills. Now, whether or not they hang together enough to bring us a shower in the metro area, it's possible. It's not overly likely, but the chance is not zero, and that's why I've got shower chance for the first part of our day today. Otherwise, we go on to be characterized by a partly sunny, hazy, muggy afternoon with highs in the mid-80s. Cooler weather, though, comes in as we go into the weekend. Let's get you out the door with a live look at the roads. That's I-5 through North Portland. Typically this time of the morning on a Monday through Thursday commute, this would be stacked up. This is Friday. We like to say Friday light because it's light. Light volume, and it's Friday, and I've got lights over me. Yes, it is. It's kind of a light volume morning out there on the freeways, so no major freeway trouble just yet. But I do want to let you know about this. TriMet riders of the Max and Blue Line, you've probably been seeing the signs for this. They're going to be doing some maintenance in the Robertson Tunnel. That's the 3-mile tunnel that goes through the West Hills. So anyone that rides the blue and red lines, be prepared. Starting on Sunday, this is a week-long project. They're going to be using shuttle buses to serve stops between the Sunset Transit Center and Providence Park. China.
Thank you, Chris. Yesterday, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was grilled on Capitol Hill by senators on both sides of the aisle.
Secretary Kennedy had an especially heated exchange with Oregon Senator Ron Wyden. Here's KGW's Alma McCarty with a recap.
Incoming. On Thursday, it didn't take long before Robert F. Kennedy Jr. clashed with senators during a committee hearing on Capitol Hill.
Under President Trump's leadership, we at HHS are enacting a once-in-a-generation shift from a sick care system to a true health care system that tackles the root causes of chronic disease.
While the health secretary touted this as an achievement, lawmakers pushed back against his actions, from efforts to restrict vaccines to the turmoil at the CDC. Here's Senator Ron Wyden, ranking member of the Senate Finance Committee.
It's been obvious from the start that Robert Kennedy's primary interest is to take vaccines away from Americans. During his confirmation process, he claimed to be pro-safety and pro-science, but his actions reveal a steadfast commitment to elevating junk science and fringe conspiracies.
Strong statements that soon turned into a sparring match between the two. Wyden questioning Kennedy's decision to fire and replace all the members of the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, the panel that develops vaccine recommendations.
This critical advisory panel has lost scientific credibility. After years, colleagues, we spend so much time.
Senator, I didn't politicize ASAP. I depoliticized it. The Congress has been investigating ASAP.
All over the country, Mr. Secretary, scientists and doctors are saying otherwise.
Washington Senator Maria Cantwell bringing up the West Coast states' newly formed Health Alliance, a partnership that will announce its own vaccine guidelines.
You don't want to support that. You don't want to support that evidence. So yes, the governors of the West, Washington, Oregon, and California, will take up the efficacy of science.
Afterward, the president praised RFK for his hearing performance.
If you look at what's going on in the world with health, and look at this country also with regard to health, I like the fact that he's different.
Again, that was Alma McCarty reporting for us this morning. Senator Wyden, by the way, also requested that Secretary Kennedy be formally sworn in as a witness, so yesterday's testimony would be delivered under oath, but the committee chair rejected that request.
And Hawaii is joining Oregon, Washington, California in that West Coast Health Alliance we were talking about there. The team up is designed to give states more control over public health guidelines, particularly around vaccines, in response to the shakeup at the CDC. The coalition says it will rely on guidance from national medical associations and be, quote, grounded in science, not ideology.
Portland Mayor Keith Wilson is asking for volunteers and donations to help with the city's homeless shelters. He also implied that if his plan for homelessness isn't successful, President Trump could send the National Guard here to Portland. In a letter that went out to city residents on a mailing list, Mayor Wilson pointed out the needs of the new day center over in Old Town and also the new overnight shelter in the Pearl District. We also reached out to the mayor's office to get some more context and clarity about his call for volunteers, but so far we haven't heard back. In Grants Pass, the City Council is moving forward with a revised version of their Addressing Homelessness grant program.
Now, we previously reported that applicant Geo Domestic withdrew from the program, citing miscommunication between partners and city staff. The notice of intent to award a contract to Geo Domestic was scheduled for approval Wednesday, but City Council voted instead to modify the grant program, including an extended application timeline for applicants. Public opinion was mixed, with one speaker criticizing the document's language.
So if you don't know what you're doing, why are you even writing it or voting on it if you don't have the experience? Please hear my advice and get a social worker board to advise you on actually what this RFP is saying.
Council members also discussed screening applicants for prior lawsuits and whether the future site address should remain confidential. An amended version of the proposal will return to council at a future meeting. Meantime, Washington's Attorney General is urging the Trump administration to end National Guard deployments in cities across the country. AG Nick Brown called the deployments a, quote, dangerous, illegal, and in violation of our founding principles, adding that President Trump is using the Guard to create a military state in American cities and to bolster his image as an authoritarian who can do whatever he wants. Border Czar Tom Homan and Labor Secretary and former Oregon Congresswoman Lori Chavez-DeRemer have indicated that Portland could be on the list to receive the National Guard.
The state of Washington says the Trump administration's tariffs could cost the state more than $2 billion over the next 4 years. Now, this new report from the state is all based on projections that include grocery costs going up an estimated 16% and a loss of 30,000 jobs in the state over the next 4 years. The people behind this report say that agriculture, food processing, and aerospace will be the hardest hit industries.
There is no snare in which these tariffs are good for Washingtonians. And don't be fooled by the administration. Washington's working families and businesses and the state will bear the cost of these tariffs.
It just doesn't feel right to pass on the full 10% or 15 or 50%. And obviously that'll have other impacts as well on revenue and other things.
This report from the state of Washington was based on the idea of full tariffs staying in effect through the year 2029. Another summer is in the books for the Tribal Stewards Program, which works to restore Oregon's public lands and create healthy landscapes in the state's high desert. Program participants take part in activities like fish and wildlife habitat restoration and native seed collecting.
Our mission really is in restoring cultures, economies, and our ecosystems is also the restoration of our communities and also being out on the land. Just is a good feeling for most of the youth, and they really enjoy it.
I kind of steer towards work outside because I feel like it's the most rewarding. Having that outlet to come and do this type of work is really nice, especially if you're inside all year round before summer.
Yeah, Indigenous youth are really the focus of this program. It aims to help those youth gain employment in the field of natural resource management.
Your time now is 7:39. Let's head over to Chris McGinnis for a look at weather.
Guys, we've been talking about the possibility of showers creeping into the Willamette Valley. I want to show you our camera here from downtown. This is our Wells Fargo's camera pointed off to the south and east. It's cloudy off to the south and east. We're picking up the cloud cover that is producing rain, and at last check, a thunder shower out in Clackamas County. 64 degrees last check at PDX. Again, it's a little sticky out there by Northwest standards, a dew point of 60. Feels a little humid. I mean, the humidity right now, 87%. So folks going out for a walk or a run right now are going to be doing a little sweating out there. All right, radar over the last 3 hours has been somewhat lit up across Northwest Oregon. Let's zoom in here. We just had a couple of recent lightning strikes from these cells working their way into the Cascade foothills and down towards Colton, just east of Molalla, south of Beaver Creek. We've got some shower activity starting to pop up along Highway 26 as well, just north of Estacada between, well, right in the Sandy area, actually. So, again, some of these are starting to creep to the west, and with the instability here still present, the warm and humid air that we have, it's still possible that one or two of those showers work their way into the metro area here between now and about 10 o'clock. So I've got that shower chance there. Otherwise, a partly to mostly sunny day on tap for the region. It's going to be another sticky one as well. It's humid out there this morning, and with temperatures in the mid-80s, that heat index will make it feel like upper 80s to about 90 degrees this afternoon. I've got us topping out at 86. We stair-step down in the temperature department Saturday, Sunday. I've got the shower threat in there because it's not zero, and that's why I have to mention it. But absolutely, as we go to Monday and Tuesday, those are the days that we're looking at that are going to be showery and cool. We could pick up a 1/10, maybe 2/10 of an inch of rain or more as we go into that time frame. All right, let's get you out the door with a look at the roads. We'll zoom in to the west side. Highway 26 coming down the hill from the zoo into the tunnel. We've got the typical brake tapping there. Over on the east side, there's the Banfield I-84 westbound traffic moving from the right to the left-hand side of your screen. That's still in pretty good shape. Drive time's really not doing all that bad out there this morning. A reminder for Max riders, specifically the blue and the red line, TriMet is starting a week-long maintenance project in the Robertson Tunnel. So to do that, they're going to use shuttle buses to serve stops between the Sunset Transit Center and Providence Park all next week. That actually starts on Sunday, should wrap up on Saturday. But guys, TriMet says expect to add an extra 45 minutes to your commute. That's big for anybody on the west side that uses the red line to get to the airport. Just be aware.
Thank you, Chris. The Trump administration is rolling back a Biden-era rule that would have required airlines to compensate passengers for delays and cancellations. What this means for travelers, plus more of your consumer headlines coming up next on Sunrise, streaming live.
Hey, I'm Blair Best, and we hope you've been joining us for The Story each weeknight at 6:30. If you've got a story idea of your own, email us at thestory@kgw.com or call and leave us a voicemail. 503-226-5090. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great morning, and I'll see you tonight.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
So even though I live in Hawaii, every year when I come home, I got to come to Don and Joe's for butterscotch malt.
Love that. The butterscotch malt, part of the menu at Don and Joe's Drive-In. It's a family-run burger joint over in Ridgefield that's been around for more than 40 years. And the family that runs Don and Joe's says business has still been good, even though the big new In-N-Out opened up in Ridgefield a couple of weeks ago.
The more the merrier. So it brings traffic to the area, it brings local businesses. It's honestly great to see Ridgefield growing the way it is.
Yeah, Don and Joe says that In-N-Out business is it's a healthy competition. It's a healthy competition for them. They say they're not going anywhere. Don and Joe's plans to keep serving Ridgefield for generations to come.
All right, now here's a look at your consumer headlines. The Treasury Department is phasing out the use of paper checks for Social Security payments, veteran benefits, and tax refunds. Those benefits will instead be paid out electronically. The government says paper checks are costly and more vulnerable to fraud and theft. The Trump administration is scrapping a Biden-era plan that would have required airlines to compensate passengers for canceled or delayed flights with cash, lodging, and meals. Airlines welcome the move, calling the rule unnecessary and burdensome. Passengers can still request assistance, but airlines won't be bound by a federal requirement. Europe has banned the use of an ingredient known as TPO, which is commonly used in gel nail polish. That means no gel nail polish, TPO, and it can be sold in Europe. The European Union believes that there's a potential risk to the reproductive system. The ban has no impact on sales here in the U.S. And that's a look at your consumer headlines.
All right, Chris McGinnis back into the mix here with a look at today's weather forecast. What do you got?
Radar fired up. We mentioned this maybe about an hour ago.
Right.
Like, would we see a shower? Maybe some thunder? Check this out. Over the last 60 minutes, the cells are getting a little closer. They are starting to creep out of the Cascade foothills. And this is radar again. Over the last 60 minutes, starting to see some showers now pop out towards Sandy. Some showers popping east of Malala down towards Colton. And in fact, as we zoom in, this one happens to be just south of Corbett right now. And again, right over Sandy, right over Highway 26. Let's head down to the south. This one down in Clackamas County, lightning detection with this cell, at least a couple of strikes right over Colton. So if you're hearing, a little rumble of thunder, just good to get inside. Remember that lightning is obviously quite dangerous. You need to stay inside and sheltered from that. These are tracking on off to the north and west. So it's possible that one or two of these hold together to get into like Oregon City, Clackamas, and maybe even eventually into Portland itself over the next 60 to 90 minutes. Over the last 3 hours, we've seen numerous lightning strikes along the Oregon coast and the Coast Range. In fact, there are some new ones now popping up again in Lincoln County. Lincoln County, Newport, Lincoln City, you've been getting on and off wet this morning, as has the Coast Range. We've had showers down towards Eugene, western Lane County, Polk County, Benton County. Earlier this morning, we actually had a little lightning strike reported in Yamhill County as well. And now a new batch of showers is popping and blossoming a little bit over Deschutes and Jefferson County. The steering currents are generally off to the north and west, and so with the instability present, some of these, again, may work their way into the metro area over the next little while. And that's why I've got our Wells Fargo camera pointed off to the south and east. This is kind of in the direction of where those storms would be coming from if they wind up getting into the metro area. That's not a definite, but it's possible. 64, last check at PDX. The high humidity, also one of the things that's helping to keep these showers going. I mean, a 60-degree dew point is on the humid side a bit for the Pacific Northwest, certainly for Portland this time of the year. Shower threat for the first part of our day, mostly cloudy through the mid part of the day, and then in the afternoon we just go with a partly sunny, hazy sunshine. I've got Portland topping out in the upper 80s this afternoon. It's a fairly chaotic looking weather pattern offshore. You see numerous little spins in the clouds there. There's one, there's another one, there's another one. And with all this activity, these little impulses are just sort of rotating into the Pacific Northwest every 6 to 12 hours. And so that's what's sparking the shower development today, this morning. Another one rolls in this afternoon. And so that's why Futurecast lights up east of the Cascades again today. And just like this morning, the steering currents are generally from the southeast to the northwest. So again, one or two of those could work their way into the valley tomorrow. It's not likely, but it is why I have shower chance mentioned on Saturday and Sunday. The takeaway from our 7-day forecast, though, is twofold. We're cooler and cooling as we go into the weekend. And next week, Monday and Tuesday, are absolutely wet. We're talking maybe 1/4 inch of rain here coming our way for Monday and Tuesday. Let's get you out the door with a live look at the roads. We'll start off on the Sunset, Highway 26 coming down the hill into the Vista Ridge Tunnel. That's normal slow and go action there. I-5 through North Portland actually looks great at this point. And typically the Friday morning commute is lighter than the Monday through Thursday commute. And today we're true to form as far as that's concerned. I-5 through Wilsonville. This is your northbound I-5 traffic coming off the Boone Bridge up towards Wilsonville Road. That looks pretty good. And case in point, there's your drive time. 21 minutes to get in from Wilsonville. Interstate 84, about 20 minutes now from Troutdale to downtown. True?
All right, thank you, Chris.
You always look back at your life and you see, do you have any regrets or anything? The last regret I would ever have is buying this store and marrying that woman.
It's the story of a local hardware store that has a whole lot more behind it than just hammer and nails. Coming up on Sunrise, why this Ridgefield favorite is closing its doors after more than 100 years of business.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Ridgefield's only hardware store is set to close its doors for good at the end of the month after over 100 years in business.
Devin Haskins talked to the owners about why they're saying goodbye.
At the corner of Pioneer Street and Main Avenue, this building has stood here since 1914. Inside, it's what a small-town hardware store should be.
This is totally a throwback you get from the old days of hardware stores.
Scott Hughes and his wife bought the place in 1999.
You don't have to go into Home Depot and buy 25 screws when you need 3 or 4.
Some things have remained the same, like this original countertop and the scale that once weighed nails and screws.
It was made in 1914. I know it was purchased new for the store at that time.
It has been the only hardware store in town.
Makes it convenient because Home Depot is so far away, so it's easier to come here.
But after 111 years, Scott says it's time to say goodbye.
It's very heartbreaking that they're closing.
It's a business he has loved since he bought it.
You love your job, you never work a day in your life. That's the way this was. You never regretted a Monday having to come into work.
For Scott, this decision to close has been something he's been thinking about for the last 2 years. He says it is time to spend more time with his wife, Kathy.
Oh, she is my dream girl. Excuse me.
For more than 50 years, Scott and Kathy have always been side by side. She started working here when her dad owned the store from 1982 till 1999 when she and Scott took over.
She just loves this community. Born and raised here. She knows everybody.
Over the last decade, Kathy has been battling a disease that over time has required more attention. Now Scott says his place is by her side.
The last 2 years it's been progressing, and this year it's been progressing a little bit more, so that's why I need to spend time with her.
Ridgefield Hardware will close on September 30th.
Yeah.
But for Scott,
yep, and it'll be hard.
The memories inside these walls will never fade.
You always look back at your life and you see, do you have any regrets or anything? The last regret I would ever have is buying this store and marrying that woman.
In Ridgefield, Devin Haskins, KGW News.
Healthier Together, sponsored by Regents Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oregon.
In recent years, more people have been talking about perimenopause. The Washington Post article from last year found that Google searches for perimenopause began rising in 2022, then spiked in 2024. Now, women typically experience menopause around 51 years old. The defining factor here is when a woman hasn't had her cycle for a whole year. Perimenopause begins before that. Symptoms may include hot flashes, poor sleep, irregular menstrual cycles, anxiety, or depression and fatigue.
The process of perimenopause, typically, you're experiencing it over anywhere from 1 to 4 years on average, could be even longer for some women. And the average age of onset for that is kind of mid to later 40s.
That doctor says many women will choose to deal with it on their own, but it doesn't have to be that way. If you're experiencing uncomfortable symptoms, talk to your doctor. Treatment can range from hormone replacement therapy to medication for specific symptoms. And for more Healthier Together stories, just go to kgw.com/healthier together. Coming up at 8, a group of striking workers at Evergreen School District vote to reject the latest contract offer from the district, delaying the start of the school year again. Then later.
The company has admitted that it detected a fault on one of its transmission lines around the time that the fire ignited.
The Department of Justice says a California power company is to blame for a wildfire near Los Angeles that killed 19 people earlier this year. We'll have details on the new lawsuits against the company and new video evidence to support the DOJ's case coming up at 8 o'clock.